Morning.
Thanks for coming. Got lots of overseas people here, mainly Australians and English Poms, we call them. They're used to it now. So welcome, and as you know, about 50 of us have been on a 2-week round the South Island tour, and so they pretty much know the ropes. So now for the other 50 that went on the tour, they need to know the system. So we've got Malcolm McDonald is going to be leading the group off. Stand at the front, wave your hand, Malcolm. He's not going to be wearing high vis, or are you?
No.
No.
Yeah, good on you.
Well, I wouldn't stand out because everyone else is.
So we're going to use the drop-off system. Malcolm's going to lead. If he indicates to you on a corner, you stop there and stay there till you see this truck coming. Don't move. If you don't want to be standing on a corner,
Don't be behind me.
don't be behind Malcolm. So probably prefer the modern bikes to assist with that. We've got to need about 7 drop-off points before we get to Rewalker, to this bike display and car display. And
The other one too is with the drop-off, it's a pretty good job because you get to see everything. But the big one is anyone on the big roundabouts, go right around until you've seen seen the bike, because some of them you've got to go basically right around to where we're turning, and you won't see them unless you go right round. So just be aware, don't get off any of the roundabouts until you've seen the bike, otherwise you will be buggered.
the person, hopefully, whoever is indicating, will be waving or pointing in the direction where you should be going. Very important, because if the first corner he's scratching his ass or waving his arms round, everyone will go the wrong way, and then no one will get to the salmon farm.
Point the bike in the right direction.
Yep. It's all pretty common sense.
Pretty good, but just those roundabouts, because some of them, if you make the wrong turn, you're going to Nelson.
Okay. On the safety thing, once we get over the Tarkia Hill, there's 2 one-way bridges, and then on the way to the salmon, close to the salmon farm, there's a big one-way bridge. Lots of camper vans, lots of tourists who have got no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
We'd just be more than happy to run over a bike. So if it's bigger than you, give way to it.
Everything.
Okay, you see Peter here with the camera. He's going to be standing in the middle of the road with his camera as you all leave here. Don't run him over.
Oh,
What do we want, a close-up shot?
isn't it double point? So,
Right. At the bottom of the Tarkia Hill is a set of traffic lights. On the Motueka side, before we go up the hill. And if you get the timing wrong, you'll be waiting there for 12 minutes before the next green light. So there's a stretch where Hurricane Gita took out the road, which was about 2.5 years ago, and Jacinda's been pouring money into the wrong direction instead of our roads, and so we're still waiting for the repairs to be done. So that's going to be another bottleneck. There are cameras on there, and if anyone drops the red light, you'll probably end up with a ticket.
It's okay, I'm on a borrowed bike.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, hopefully everyone's gassed up. Now, if you haven't, about 50k after we go and look at this bike collection, there is a gas station at Rewalker, and that would probably be the best place to gas up. So that's about 50k down the road. Okay, if you haven't gassed up, probably best to do it now than later. Has everyone got their numbers on their headlights?
No.
If you haven't got a number on there, your bike won't be voted on, and you won't win a prize.
have you got a little sticker for me, Murray, please?
It's in your rally pack. Sort your shit out, girl. Right, don't forget your lunch tickets. If those that want lunch at the salmon farm, Got to have a ticket. If you haven't got your ticket, even if you're paid, you'll have to pay in hard cash. Now at the salmon farm when we get there, we're going to have a salmon fishing competition. We're allowed to catch 10 salmon free. So we're going to have a prize for the first salmon caught, the biggest salmon, the smallest salmon, the ugliest salmon. After the 10th one's been caught, you'll be paying. So no, there's not a time limit, but if you happen to be number 11, you'll be paying for what you catch. Just bear that in mind. So we might have a little think about that on the ride over. We could put it into a international fishing competition. The Aussies versus the Poms versus the Kiwis. And do we have to do it legally? You won't need any gallon.
No throwing your lines out underhand, it's all got to be overhead.
Sounds a bit fishy.
You got that, Ian?
Now we're going to have at the salmon farm after we've eaten, we're going to have our club AGM there. The overseas people might find that a bit boring, so we've got another museum for you to go and have a look at, which has got a lot of Golden Bay memorabilia, motorbikes, firearms, all sorts of interesting stuff in there.
You go there before the salmon farm to get a firearm.
No. And then we'll come back and the bar will be open here at 4 o'clock. And dinner's at 7 o'clock tonight. Got the guest speaker. It's all in, for those that can read, it's all in your rally packs. Right, now on our tour around the South Island, we had a bat. And the bat was awarded to the most deserving person on the day. And we've got, there's the bat. We only had a little one, because you had to carry it with you on your bike. And you'll see all the names, the places and the names. And the lucky recipient yesterday was Ian Foote. And so Ian wants to give it away today to someone.
I do, indeed I do. And all last night I was trying to get some dirt on our tour members, and I was looking for somebody who played up a little bit and did something stupid. And just like I did, I ran out of petrol and I was awarded this, but today I'm going to award it to Brian. Brian King.
Let me write his name, I've got to write on there.
Sorry mate.
You're right on the back.
Last day of tour, look what happens.
So I get to keep it. You get to keep it. Yeah, it's autographed. Put my signature on.
Thanks mate, well done.
Good on you, Brian.
Now, Glenn here has got the Fitzgerald construction van, and it's a seat about 8.
7 years, 7 or 8 I think it is.
For those that aren't riding, that want a leisurely trip over, Glenn's going to
I'll be your driver
in the van.
Is your gas fridge full?
Has anyone got any questions? Perfect.
Les Freeman was looking for a seat. I've got the little blue Corolla there if he's welcome to come with me.
Okay, well, sort yourself out. If you haven't got any wheels to put your bottom into, that Fitzgerald construction van.
You can jump on the back of Willie's bike.
Yeah.
Mary, I've got an announcement. I've made a sticker for myself because I couldn't find mine in amongst all of that stuff in the commotion of rooms and everything. and I've made a sticker for my headlight. So on that little beautiful AJS, it's got oil leaking everywhere. And it goes like...
Which one?
350. The 350. They don't leak oil anyway, British bikes. They ooze class. You've got to know that. So I've got class all over me. I've got now the Dragon Jeans oil sticker. There's a sticker on the front of it. There's a sticker on the front that says Robin, right? So vote for Robin.
Let's get out of here. We need a number.
When I was a young fella, I had a G80 legend framer, and I bloody near killed myself on it, so I got rid of it super quick. And I said to me mate Dares, I said, if you ever find it, I got copy with a guy that was working on an apple orchard up here, and tobacco property I should say, and he had a G9. I said, I always wanted a G9. And Dares come out one day and he said, I found you a G9. I said, where is it? He said, Muchawaka. I said, bullshit. There's a G9 in Muchawaka. I said, no. And he said, well, at 2 o'clock you're looking at it. 2:30 I wrote it home. And that was the start of the disease.
Hello, Johnny.
Toilet, there is a toilet around the, talk to Wiz Neil.
She listens very attentively.
What's her name
I'm sure
now?
nothing going to go straight.
Oh, sorry.
guys. Look, I'm Bruce from New Plymouth in the North Island and Taranaki. 5 of us came down a couple of days ago and met up at Hamner Springs with you boys on the big South Island tour, and then enjoyed the last 2 or 3 days with you a lot, and the camaraderie, and it was really good to meet up with everyone. Today we've left Nelson and come over the Taraka Hill into just out of Taraka to a salmon farm for lunch, and it's been a bloody lovely day. The weather's been really neat for riding. It's been fine, no wind, very big hill. Never been over the Taraka Hill before, and it's a surprise to come up and come over it. But it was neat to see all the bikes together and then come off the hill and just see them and trailing off into the distance down on the flat road, and it's been a bloody good, well-run day, I think.
Yeah, my name's Alan Burgess. I'm from Wellington. Unfortunately, I'm not riding a Matchless, so I'm cheating. I'm on a Honda, but I do have a Matchless at home, which is a little bit poor health. But hopefully, next rally, the Matchless will be going again.
So you did the pre-rally tour. How was that? What were the highlights of it?
Oh, the highlights were getting out of the floods, getting out of the rain, getting away from the cold weather, surviving the sandblasting at Oriti Beach, going from Invercargill where it was 9 degrees to Alexander where it was 26 degrees in one day. Marvellous.
And so the low light was that first wet day down the west coast, was it?
From Murchison to Friends Joseph, I got soaked, all my gear got soaked, everything was wet.
Tell us where you've come from today and where the journey so far today, start to finish.
Yep, we've come from Tahuna Beach today. The weather's been lovely, it's been nice and warm. We come over the Takaka Hill, which for motorbikes, and particularly a bit more motorbikes with proper brakes and things, it's a marvellous, marvellous ride over there. Keeps you young.
Looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, terrific, yes. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
And here?
This is the best lunch I've ever had. It's better than home.
So what did you have?
Well, salmon.
Salmon 6 ways, I think.
Yeah, all sorts of different ways. Yeah.
Very good.
So I'm Gordon Alexander, and I'm a Kiwi and one of the founding members of the register here in New Zealand. And today on this rally I'm riding a 49 G3L, a little rigid 350, so which has been on a few of these, but and great to have a ride on it too.
An AJ or
It's a Matchless. It's a Matchless. And it's a family-owned Matchless. It's one that my dad bought new in 49, and my late dad was a member of the club as well, and so we rallied them, this one and several of the others that are in the collection variously over the years.
tell us a bit about the ride today?
Oh, the ride today was awesome. I've been over the Takaka Hill about 3 or 4 times on bikes, but only about that many times, and probably the last time was about 20 years ago after the last international rally, where we brought a post-rally northern tour up to Nelson for a couple of days, and we rode the Takaka Hill with a number of our predominantly Brit visitors who were here for that 2000 rally, and that would be the last time I was on 2 wheels over the Takaka Hill, so it was really great today to wind the little 350 up a bit and have a bit of fun.
I heard that was another international Jampot 20 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I chaired the organising committee for that international 20 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Look, we had about 300 odd people on that rally from memory, and we were really lucky in those days. The Brit contingent sourced a multi-use container that the BSA blokes, I think, had brought out from the UK, and so they loaded 40 bikes from the UK in the shipping container in 2 levels, and shipped it, and we took care of their machinery here in New Zealand for them and made them all road legal and registered and warrant of fitnesses and things like that. And so the Brit contingent 20 years ago was a bit bigger than this time, but nonetheless, we're delighted that a significant number of Brits have come back this time, and a few of our Aussie chums as well, to come and share the scenery in New Zealand with us. So it's been great. Oh, look, this I think the last entry that I sort of saw was about 103 entrants, and I think something like 80 bikes. So, and that's great. That's great. Our New Zealand club is only currently about 200 members strong, spread around the country, but we figure that we've probably got about 70 or 75 of those 200 members here on this rally this time. So that's pretty darn good going. We're completely chuffed with that. And all credit to Murray, who's done a magic job of organising this, pretty much single-handedly actually. And I know how much work goes into it, and he's done a great job. It's massive. It's massive. Oh, look, it becomes a sort of an era inevitability, I suppose. You know, we struggle to attract younger members into the group, and none of the rest of us get any younger ourselves. So ultimately, it's the demographic continues to age. The interest in our machinery is probably not super high with the younger generations, and that's just a reality. And at the moment we're pretty healthy, so we'll kick it along for 5 or 10 years and see if any of us are left kicking stones around, and see how it goes then. You know.
And something that I feel as though I should address is what is the future of the internal combustion engine in general?
Well, if I've got anything to do with it and anybody takes any notice of me, they'll be around for a very long time, but they probably won't, and therefore maybe they won't. It sounds a little bit puzzle and riddle-ish really, but look, I think for the generation of people that are around here will probably be dead and gone before the internal combustion engine sort of fizzles away, but despite them going around the Isle of Man quite quickly on two-wheeled electric-powered things, they don't pose a great deal of appeal to me personally, but they don't make the right noise, I guess. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Paul Sangster is my name, and this is part of my shed. Hopefully one day it'll be a museum uptown. I've just started to build it, but I collect military vehicles, firearms, memorabilia, motorbikes I've restored over the last 26-30 years, and general household contents, items of interest, and I try to make up family profiles so that I keep a bit of a record of who's been before, and try and make it interesting for people coming, so that hopefully their relations or their friends have somewhere in the shed, and some of their items are here as well. Some of these motorbikes have been given to me in basket case condition. However, we've restored it and they're all going, except you'd need to spend half an hour to get the oil out of the cylinders and generally prime it up a bit. Hopefully the mags will still work. But other than that, it's been a hobby and a goal to have a museum, so I'm hoping that will be the future.
It certainly looks like a museum. You know, you've got plenty of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I'm still collecting, and I try and do something every day to improve it or to upgrade it or to fix something. So.
And so what's happening today? The
Matchless
AJS and Matchless rally today, and
yes.
So if you can just explain that.
Well, they've been down to the Burt Monroe, I understand, and they're on their way home. So they come for one of the most thrilling rides in the country, which is over the Tarka Hill on a motorbike. You can't get better. And so they're enjoying a bit of time in Golden Bay at the moment, and going to be calling in here, I hope, in the next hour or so. And then we puddle back over the hill all together and have an evening at the camp tonight, isn't it? The Nelson Holiday Park, I think it is.
In the function centre.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll catch up with them all over there, and I'm going to tell them some stories and try and make them laugh.
So you're the guest speaker tonight?
I'm apparently the guest speaker or the entertainer or whatever, which is something I enjoy as well. So.
Call me Rolling Stone, never think on that, understand. I come looking for a little satisfaction. I don't drive no Cadillac, all I do. You can be murder at this hour of the day, but in the morning it's
My name is Liz Bradford, and I come from the London Borough of Hillingdon, which is West London. My involvement with the AJS and Matchless Club has been over many years with my husband John Bradford, who's a member of West London branch, I suppose you call it. And we just couldn't resist coming on this tour of New Zealand. It was a chance to do something different, a chance to see the country and to actually visit some friends and relatives while we're here as well. We've had the most wonderful time. We've been well looked after, well fed, seen many, many places that we've never had a chance to see before. And we hope that some of the Kiwis will come to England and that we'll see them again.
What was the highlight for you of the pre-rally tour?
I think the highlight was probably Te Mahaya, excuse my pronunciation, there, and the getting together and the food and the view to die for. Absolutely superb.
And that's in the Marlborough Sound.
And that's in the Marlborough Sound, yeah.
Thank you. Janet, I can see you, but if you can just introduce yourself to the camera and where you're from and how you're involved with the Matchless and AJ group.
My name's Janet Dillon. I come from the Midlands in England. My husband's been a Matchless AJS rider for many years, but since we've retired, he's been inviting me out on international rallies. Obviously we trailer the bike and starting to see lots of different people. Willie is our main contact. We've seen him on a couple of internationals. In fact, there was one where his bike broke down, we took it home and my husband mended it, and then he came over the next year and we went to the international that was in Poland, and we've seen him since. He came over to us last year and we're already in the throes of arranging the Slovenia international, which is in June. So I'm starting to see one or two. Because I don't go on the bike, I usually stay behind, but this time Willie's driven the car, and it's the mountains, the scenery, the trees and the views. It's just, you just sit in wonder. There's no need to talk in the car, you're just taking in the views. I can't think of anything that sticks out except the people and the scenery have been wonderful.
For me, one of the highlights, I've driven through the Hart Pass before, but I love the Hart Pass. I don't know if you remember which bit that was. Once we got down after the rain day,
oh yes,
and we
yes,
got to the bottom and then you go through the Hart Pass and come out to the lake.
Yes, I mean, it's beautiful. Everything. The scenery does change as you go round the corner, and little views that come into sight. It's, as my husband says, it's Wales on steroids. The hills. Because he's on the bike, he's thoroughly enjoyed going round all these bends, and yes, it's been wonderful.
Good, thank you.
Invitation from Brian Nick Kirshner, President of the AJS and Matchless Owners Club of Australia, addressed obviously at New Zealanders. We, that is the AJS and Matchless Owners Club of Australia, extend a very cordial invitation to any of your club members to join us this next October, 30th, 31st and 1st of November 2020 at Goulburn, New South Wales, for our annual Down Under Jampot Rally. Goulburn, sorry. Your members need not own a model of either AJS or Matchless mark to join us for this extra special occasion. We're most excited to be celebrating our 40th annual rally, in which we would like to identify as our Ruby anniversary event. If any of your club members would care to join us for this one, we can arrange to have entry forms sent out to you folk. While it will not be compulsory, we would prefer that a dress code for the presentation dinner evening be anything of a Ruby nature. Wow, what the hell is that? The ladies might like to take the opportunity to take advantage of this special occasion and dress accordingly, while the men folk should be encouraged to do likewise. Entrance machines, whatever they are, could be adorned with a ruby flavour also. I'm really pleased to promote this because one of the things that I'm really keen on developing over the next year or two that I'm president is relations with other groups in Australasia, going to each other's rallies, swapping newsletters and so on. So this is a terrific invitation from Nick. And in fact, I might just, hopefully not embarrass him, but just get him to stand up so everyone knows who he is. There he is. So over the course of the evening, please go and say hello and shake his hand. Thanks very much for the invitation. Cheers. We're on.
Oh, right. You've stolen my thunder.
I've just stolen the microphone off Murray. He's a bit annoyed, but that's all right. We're just going to start the presentation of the trophies. So the first one is the Casserole Miles Memorial Trophy, and this goes to number 76, John Foster, 1930 AJS R2.
You're going to grab the prize. You grab the prize.
The prizes are going to be presented by our guest speaker, Paul. It's the Casserole Miles. Murray's just having a quick look on the table here to identify it.
Yeah, what a trophy.
Thanks very much. Thank
you. Oh, good one, John. You came to see me today as well.
And Murray, make sure he gets something from the prize table. Yeah, he's from the Hawaiian contingent. Alrighty, so next we're on to the Johnny Hart Memorial Trophy, and this goes to Brian King riding a 1952 Matchless G80S. Yeah. Oh, can we have Roger Hart up to present that, please?
1925 that goes back to.
Speech, Brian, speech. Give him the microphone.
Yeah. No, it won't stretch.
Casserole Trophy.
Hang on.
Come over here. Brian, come over here. Brian, come over here.
Thanks, Brian.
Hang on, Murray, give him a prize from the table.
Get a can of petrol, Brian.
Hey, come over here. Yeah, okay. Just.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
on.
Yeah, I was trying to start my bike, as I spent most of the last fortnight doing, a while ago, and a lady came over to me and saw me kicking it, and she told me that if I went to Repco I could buy a spray bomb, which was called Start You Bastard.
Okay, the next one is the Casserole Trophy, and this goes to Grant Jury with a 1930 AJS R2.
Wonder how many would kill for that? How many would kill for that?
Yeah, he's also from the Hawaiian table.
I might mount it or
No.
A man of few words. Don't forget to visit the prize table. Murray will be supervising and make sure you don't take more than one. All right, the next one is the Roger Willis Memorial Trophy, and that goes to Bruce Davidson, 1963 AJS CSR. You have to come over here. Yeah, hold it up there.
Okay, look, just something very quickly. I was fortunate enough to pick up this a while ago, and we were allowed to take them home for the year in those days, but now we're not. But I do understand why, because the right hand tank badge on mine is broken and cracked, and I was going to swap the bastards over. and the committee got wind of this, and no longer are you allowed to take them home.
Okay, the next one is the Keen and Mean Machine Award. This hasn't been awarded for a wee while, and so the committee was sort of wondering about what to do, and we decided to award it to John Foster, 1930 AJS R2. There's something about these Hawaiian shirts, they're winning all the prizes.
Say something, John.
All right. Yeah, come over here. Cool. Say
Thank you.
something about the rally. Yeah,
Which rally? This
next
rally?
year's rally.
Next year's rally.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, good on you.
Thank you very much for hosting this amazing rally. It's been superb weather, great roads, nice people, and lots of good times. So really appreciate it. Looking forward to the Ashburton National Annual Rally, which I believe Mr. Hart, Roger Hart's organising. So hope we see all you there. Cheers.
I haven't met many people taller than me.
Yeah. I get that feeling.
I'll have to take some more of those pills. Right, the John Kendrick Memorial Trophy goes to Peter Kings North, 1962 MG50. Is that right? G50 SR? CSR?
G50 CSR.
Yeah, G50 CSR. Matchless G50 CSR. You want to say something? Yeah, go on, have a go. Yeah, just hold it up about there, yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, it's been a long, hard road to get there, but hopefully, you know, it just sort of keeps everything going for what can be done with the bike, and you just got to persevere with it. There's probably a couple of years of frustration, etc., getting it there and trying to get it sort of reasonably close to what was the original 25 that were made. Yeah, and thanks to my wife for being understanding and letting me loose in the shed from time to time. But yeah, thanks very much.
Right, and the hybrid trophy goes to Dave Scammell, 1964 Matchless G15 CSR. Yeah, you wear it over your head. Don't forget to visit the prize table. Murray will supervise. Make sure you don't take more than one. Right, now we've got some sort of unusual categories. The first one is, I think, Graham Eaton. Yes. Graham Eaton, the Nurse Maud Fastest Recovery. I'm not quite sure what that is. Come up, Graham Eaton. Oh, his hand's not quite right yet.
All I'd say is thanks everyone that was involved with my, what can I say, dispatch to hospital quickly for an x-ray. To Louise especially, because she ran both Claire and I backwards and forwards for the day. It was fantastic. And also for Chris and Murray for bringing the bike back so we could carry on. And it's all good, nothing was broken, so thanks everyone.
Excellent, you haven't had my bill yet. Okay, the next award is Chaz McDonald, the Hard Ass Trophy. That's for riding a rigid. Do you want to say a few words? Why not?
I'll just say a few brief words. I'm very surprised to be given a prize for going around the island on the 350. But I borrowed the bike from a neighbour of a friend of ours who kindly lent the bike to me. It'd been in the shed for 20 years. And I came over in November for a week, got it on the road, and it's got around the island without going on the trailer. No one's more amazed than I am, to be honest. But I just, without wishing to speak on behalf of everybody from Australia, I find myself really impressed by the whole event. Everybody's been very, very hospitable, very generous, and the atmosphere here this evening, I think, indicates a very healthy and a very vibrant club. So thank you very much indeed to everybody involved, and I much appreciate the award. Thank you.
Okay, the next award goes to Clive and Hillary for not blowing up a McLean loan bike.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to say it?
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
I'd just like to say a few words on behalf of the UK AJS and Matchless Owners Club. I'd like to thank the absolutely fabulous event that quite a few of us from the UK have come to. And I think you show us how it should be done. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next award is to Michael Watts. This is the Aged Care Award.
You can say a few words. No, nothing to say. Go on. Go on, tell them what it's for. I can tell you what it's for. Michael is ridden all the way down from Auckland and then did the 2 weeks rally with his best friend Brian King and looked after Brian. And so that's what the award's for.
Right, the next award goes to Buster West Hill for the best skinned elbow. And I see he's still wearing his badge of courage.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking Murray, Peter, Chris, George, and all the others that have helped us so much during our trip down through the south and back up here to Nelson. It's been a great trip. We've had so much of general camaraderie, you know, people just enjoying themselves without any hassles at all. The skinned elbow is still there. Hopefully it'll disappear before I get home and my wife sees it. Cheers.
Wait till you get my bill for the bike was pushed over.
Okay, the next award is to Jim and Louise, the best ambassadors for Tasmania.
Do you want to say something? Yeah, you just hold it up. Yeah, come over here. Yeah, just hold it up.
Bit on the spot here, but we've had an absolute blast the last 2 and a bit weeks in New Zealand. We love the place. and we open an extension to invite you to Goulburn in 2020 and in Tasmania in 2021. So please come and visit. We've got some great roads too.
Grab something from the table there. Okay, the next one is Willie Tweed. He receives the Green Party Award for environmental concerns for driving a gas-guzzling tank with a 4-inch petrol pipe.
It wasn't easy, but we had a heck of a lot of fun, and the car's still going, albeit on about 7.5 cylinders, but I think we'll love it. It'll get us back over again, and what a fantastic show, all these people here. It's really something else, you know. I've been to a few, but by golly, this one sort of takes the biscuit. Happy all.
Right, the next one is to one of our UK visitors. This is called the Happy Chappy Award for someone who always sort of puts on a really cheery face and says good morning and hello and calls you by name. David Rice.
Thank you very much for having us, everyone. I hope we haven't done too much whining, but we've learnt a brand new skill which we're going to take home with us. It's called grumbling, and apparently these two things are different in some way, but perhaps you could tell me after how they differ. But thank you for having us. Thanks very much to Steve and Mindy for taking me into their home, and for everyone for making us feel so welcome. Cheers.
Okay, we've got a next category. I can't quite remember what this was for. It's called the Fake News Award, and it goes to Willie Wood.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to your mates. Talk to my mates about fake news. Yeah, tell a story. What about? The only trouble is when they're talking to me, I can't usually hear them. And the big thing is when I don't want to hear them, I take these things out. Hang on, I can't hear myself now. Yeah, so fake news is very, very hard to understand when you've got people that you can't hear, because they're all getting very old and they mumble. But anyway, on behalf of our crowd that came up from New Plymouth, I'd like to thank everybody. It's a hell of a big job to run a rally, having been there myself, and thank you very, very much indeed. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and the next category is the Gordon Ramsay Award for Cooking, and this goes to Chris O'Connell.
Thanks very much.
That's what it should be like at the Hollywood Oscars. Okay, so we move on to the first entry for the rally from overseas, and that goes to Mike and Linda Sean from the UK.
Yeah, you. Come over here.
I'd like to thank everybody for a great do, and we've had a whale of a time. I do apologise for breaking a few bikes, but it wasn't all my fault. But if Murray comes back to the UK in the summer, I've got a few dodgy bikes that I can lend him as well. Thanks once again. Appreciate it.
Okay, the first Kiwi entry to the rally, Pierre Woolridge. Oh, it is. We'll have to ban them.
Oh shit, yeah.
Hawaiian table.
Did they loan it to you?
Someone's already offered to buy it from me, from Australia. Quite liked it, but not for sale.
Like big foot, man.
And I took my bike for a test ride of 1,000 miles, went up the long way to the Tauranga National Classic Rally and back, and it worked perfectly. So I tied up a few things, tappets, and talked down the head, and here I am, got round the island with only one nut sort of coming a bit loose.
Was that on the bike?
Yeah. no chairs in the bike.
Okay, the next one is the furthest travelled in New Zealand to the rally, and that goes to Brian King. Where is he? Is he gone? Oh, here he comes, yeah. Okay. Brian, you've got to sort of explain yourself.
I've got to think of something else to say, have I? I thought we were on a dais here. I've had a wonderful time. Thank you very much for everybody's companionship and friendship and assistance over the...
Pushers.
Yes, especially the pushers. So thank you very much, one and all.
Okay, the next award is the most Jampots, and it's a split between Murray and Peter Simpson. So Peter Simpson better come up, and Murray and him can fight over a prize. No, they can have one each.
Apparently we've done 29 each. I'm going to poison his food next year, so he's got the shits.
I just won't accept your entry on the entry form.
Right, the next category is the Hard Luck Award. I can't quite remember the history of this one, but it's something to do with killing motorcycles, and it goes to Mike Sean.
I'm sure Mike can recall all the bikes he's blown up this in the last 2 weeks, but here he is.
Let's start with Willie's bike. Huh? Never left Auckland. No, I had a bit of bad luck, you know, but hopefully it's going to be okay next time. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to thank who owned the AJS? That gentleman. Ah, it's a wonderful bike. It's a wonderful bike. Yeah. Just needs a new magneto. but yeah, thanks very much. I had a great time. Cheers.
Okay, we've got an award for the furthest travelled female in New Zealand, and that goes to Viv Hutchison. Now, just to save time, we're also going to award her a prize for the first fish caught in the fishing competition. So 2 prizes.
She's got a good cast on her too.
Well, you can say hello. Yeah,
She's got a good cast on you, Phoebe, too.
Thanks everybody, thanks for the guys at Murray organising that trip. It was awesome, I had a really good time. The weather was shit at times, but it was great. The experience is wonderful, and this rally's been really good. The ride over the hill today, awesome. And the first fish, New Zealanders, yeah. Here we go.
Right, and in accordance with the fishing competition, the next thing is the biggest fish, Ian Foot. And while Ian's coming forward, I'll just announce that the winning team was the Kiwis. And our representative is Chris Lynch.
Yes, what a thing to be famous for. Was it the biggest fish?
It was the biggest fish.
The biggest fish. And I actually caught 2 on the day, but one was out of the time limit. And all I can say is I love my AJS Matchless family, and thank you very much for the most marvellous time I've had in probably my whole life.
Oh, don't forget to grab a prize.
Oil, I need oil.
Now is Chris Lynch here. Come up and accept a prize for the winning New Zealand team.
Oh, thank you very much. It was quite a surprise to go fishing this afternoon, but very enjoyable afternoon and a nice end to the day. Thank you very much.
Right, now we're getting down to sort of the down and dirty, I suppose you could call it. So we've got an award for the oiliest bike, and that goes to Robin McLean. Actually, that was the oiliest bike and most entertaining person. Now, there is a time limit here. I'm going to give you 2 minutes.
I do have to say, first of all, it's not my bike, but it has been my bike for the time that I've been here. And it's a ripping little bike. Thank you, Graham. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful rally, and everybody that's been involved with it. It's been great and very challenging in many ways and very entertaining, and British bikes don't leak oil. They don't. They ooze class.
Now, before Robin departs, Robin has been a bit of an icon on this tour, and her Australian teammates wanted to donate her something special so she'd remember the trip by, and it's very fitting.
Hang on. Is this because you called witch. Murray, you're a little turd, but you're out.
Right, we're sort of down to the end of the list, but Murray's got some very, very special.
Hey, can I get a prize?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, try one of those suppositories. So Murray's got some very special prizes, so I might hand over to him to explain the history of them, and then he can call up. Yeah, here we are. I'll hand over to Murray.
Okay. We're lucky enough to have in the club a very talented man that lives just out of Dargaville, and his name is Les Andrews. He's a club member, and he happens to own a farm that has a lot of swamp carry on it. And I'll read you his little story of the swamp carry. The carry comes from a farm in Glinks Gully, Tikopru. This area is rolling country near the west coast of Northland, New Zealand. The contractor dug 5 metres down in a flat area built up over thousands of years in the hills. They found carry logs dated to be 20,000 years old. After clearing the area, the contractor dug down another 6 metres and found another forest dated to be 100,000 years old. At this stage, it is not profitable to harvest them. So the logs that they've harvested, this very talented man has made them into carry bowls, and we're going to give them away to some very very well-deserving people in the club. And so, and the first one we want to give away to is George Whiting. George is the Nelson area rep for the club. He lives in Golden Bay, and George has helped me endlessly with the rally. One hell of a man. And he's one hell of a man. And I'd like to, George, can you come and hold up one of the bowls, because these are handmade, and we've inlaid the rally badge in them, and on the back is the 20,000 years old inscription from Les, and very deserved.
Thanks, George. I always wanted one of these, as I'm too bloody scared to ask you for one.
Okay. Thanks, George. The next man that's deserving of this is Glenn Richards. Glenn's helped out behind the scenes. Helped to make the rally happen. He drove the Wrinkleys van today. In another life, you probably won't believe this, but Glenn was a stripper, a male stripper.
Thank you very much. I did enjoy today. It was the slowest trip over the Takagel I've ever done in my life. Usually I'm on a commando and it's pretty quick. Thank you very much.
The next deserving person is Malcolm McDonald. Malcolm's the former president of the club, and he provided the truck for the backup right on the pre-rally tour, and provides a lot of support for the club. behind the scenes, doesn't ask for anything, just does it.
Well, cheers, guys. I think the survival of any club means a bit of silent input from everyone, and I think it's not rewards, it's just being silent and supporting those that are up front. So think about that, whatever organisation you belong to. And thanks, Murray.
Cool. And the next one is Pete Simpson. Without Pete, this rally wouldn't have happened. Pete put all the rally packs together. He's the man that knows how to operate the computer, put all the words together, and he'd saved me hours of work. Thanks, Pete. Couldn't have done that.
Thank you. Just thanks to everybody. I really enjoy seeing people enjoy themselves on these rallies, and I have this failure in that I love doing background work, like getting all the rally packs together and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching you enjoy the rally. Thank you.
Okay, the next one that deserves it is our guest speaker, Paul Sangster. I know Paul will put it in his museum, and it might be in there for another 200 years. Thanks, Paul.
I'm just pleased that the bike went down and someone rode it, George, so it's got to be good. No, went for a trip round the South Island on the trailer, and I was sad to hear that, but it didn't. So I'm really proud. Thank you.
Now, there's been two guys that have been hiding in the background for 2 weeks, making this event even more memorable for us and recording it, and that's our TV crew guys, Pete Blasdale and Barry Sangster. They've put in so much effort, always smiling, always there in the background. They've recorded the last 2 weeks of the rally. They've cost us nothing. They've done it for love of the art that they like, which is filmmaking. They're probably going to be millionaires after this, but I'd like them both to come forward and have a bowl each to remember.
Thank you very much. It's great meeting you all, and you've been a fantastic time with you guys, and love to do it again sometime, meet you again sometime. Thanks.
Come on, Pete. Come on, Pete. You've got to be you're in front of the camera now.
Yeah, no. It's been great, you know, a wonderful trip, wonderful bunch of people. Really enjoyed it, and I hope I can do what we've got justice in the next few weeks or months. But anyway, watch this space. Thank you.
So the plan is that Peter and Barry are going to put this into like a documentary, and because our club is of our tax status, we're not allowed to make a profit. We can make a little profit, and so if we end up making a profit, we'll be donating the movie to everyone that's been here tonight. And if we run to loss, we'll be selling it to you at Okay, right. Now can we have all the overseas people up, because we've got a bowl for everyone. Yeah. this is so you can gloat to your friends about the good time you've had in the Down Underland. They're all handmade. They're all slightly different. They're all individual. Oh.
Oh, I feel like crying. It's just lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a real honour to receive this, and we will treasure it.
I'm really honoured to get one of these. My dad was a timber worker, and he was born in 1904. He was an old bastard, but he had a reason for being an old bastard. And I'd like to tell you that he lived to 83, and he had a full head of hair. It was white, soft and very fluffy, and he cut my dad. This has nothing to do with the rally, but my dad was a hero in a way because he cut a rocking horse out of the big saw, you know, one of those little kiddie rocking horses, and he had all his digits. So a nice bit of timber is going to go down well in our house.
Okay. Thank you, Robert.
You old bastard.
Well, that sort of wraps up the evening. I guess we've got to start drinking now. Thanks everyone for coming, especially the overseas people. I know what it costs to come to travel overseas to go to a rally like this, and I imagine there will be no change over $10,000, $20,000 for a lot of you. So thanks again for coming, and thanks from the New Zealand AJS and Matchless Owners Club.
On behalf of the Australian contingent that came over, I'd like to thank Murray for the invitation. It initially started with us anyway, when Murray and his partner at the time came to...
She's still my partner.
When Murray and Lisa...
In Hadsbin in Tasmania.
That's right, yeah, that's right. I remember that. And the invitation was extended to us at Hadsbin. And we tried desperately to get a container of bikes from Australia. Initially we had 8, I think, interested parties from all over Australia. A couple from Perth, a couple from Tasmania, mainly the East Coast. But it all fell foul when the container was going to cost us $10,000 anyway, but which would have been about $1,500 to get all the bikes over. We couldn't have less than 10, but in the finish we only had 2, one of which was mine. It was going to cost us $5,000 each return, so it just wasn't worth it. But I'm glad we made the effort. We came over here in 2000 and I held it at Christchurch at Lincoln University. And I said, I'm coming back. And here we are. So I'd just like to thank Murray for being here, extending the invitation, and God bless you.
I would like to say thank you
to all of you for letting me poke another camera in your face. If you're in the UK for the rally, I will try and get my finger out and make a DVD. So if you are, come and find me. I'm John from the West London section, or any of your representatives who will be over in the UK. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Is there anyone else that would like to say anything tonight before we fall into drunken debauchery and